So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the BBQ Central Show, the show where we talk about all things that are important in the world of barbecue. From big-name interviews with competitors on the barbecue circuit, grill manufacturers and pit makers, to advice on cooking brisket and ribs. You'll find it all right here on the BBQ Central Show. Your host, Greg Rempe, is a backyard barbecue and grilling fanatic and loves to talk about his passion, which many of us share together. You can learn more about barbecue and grilling by visiting the website, thebbqcentral.com. Now, let's get in the smoke. Here's your program host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome to the BBQ Central Show. Oh, yeah, it's the really big barbecue show. Central Lights, how's your life? Thanks for joining me tonight. Barbecue Central Radio Networks. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. 9 o'clock, loving it. It's the show where we talk about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. We originate from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, dare I say it. The barbecue capital of the North Coast, and the show is jam-packed. So if you got the newsletter, you know what's happening. You know what's going to be coming up here in just a few short minutes. I will be joined by the executive producer of TLC's... Oh, wait a second now. Can't have that. I'll be joined by executive producer of the BBQ Pitmaster show on TLC, which airs every Thursday. John Markus here in just a few seconds. Coming up, third segment, because John will be with me the remainder of this segment and all of the next segment. Third segment, we'll be back with monthly guest Ted Reeder. He is the Canadian barbecue and grill guru, celebrity chef, done a number of TV appearances, multiple-time author. We're going to be talking some Super Bowl prep, some general party prep, and all that good stuff. So look for Ted Reeder around 34 past the hour. Fourth segment, of course, we have the usual suspects of giveaways. We have a frog mat to give away. We have some Cosmos Q to give away, all that great stuff. So you have to be listening live in order to do that and win. 216-220-0966 is the number. John will be fielding phone calls if you're so inclined to call in and weigh in about the show or ask him a question. You can also do it via email, bbqcentralradio@gmail.com. And then after the top of the hour news at 10 o'clock, we're going to introduce a new segment called After Dark. It's going to be a completely different thing, unrelated, but kind of related to the Barbecue Central show. And the inaugural guest is going to be competitive eater Joey Chestnut. And after he is done, we'll also get into the Lakeland Pig Festival interviews that Dennis Cobb got down there. So we're wide open, but jam-packed all at the same time. Again, contact information for the show is 216-220-0966. If you want to email the show, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Again, John Markus will be coming on here very shortly. bbqcentralradio@gmail.com if you want to email your questions about TLC Pitmasters, if you have some ideas or questions that you would like to ask Ted Reeder in a third segment, whatever the case may be, that's the way to get in touch with the show. So let's go to the hotline. Joining me now to talk some TLC Pitmasters is the executive producer of the show. He's also an Emmy Award winner. Perhaps you heard of a little TV show called The Cosby Show back in the day. None other than John Markus. John, welcome back to the Barbecue Central show. How are you?
Greg, it's great to be here.
Well,
how do I sound to you?
Oh, you sound loud and proud, as we say in CB Talk there.
Well, I'd like to thank the people here at the brand new Holiday Inn on I-270, Ohio.
All right. Well, you're in our. That's right. You're in the state capital of Ohio, the yes. Land of the Buckeyes. So welcome into Ohio. Hopefully, you can be leaving very shortly.
Well, you're talking about my hometown, so be very careful here.
Yeah, no doubt about it, John. So before we get into the show, and I did make a very quick mention of the Cosby Show there in the open. Can we backtrack there for a second? I mean, what is it like to be a part of that show and to be working with a guy who is arguably probably one of the top comedic minds, probably top 10 of all time? I mean, what's it like to be working with Bill Cosby and how he operates in that whole show?
Well, to put it briefly, let's just say I went to school. It was an amazing course, and I was there for 6 years, so I can say I got my doctorate in comedy, in restraint, in subtlety, in trying to get to the joke without telling a joke, talking about character and story. It was just one of those things. We spent hours and hours a week in meetings, long meetings, where we would talk about story. And I just look back, and to this day, I still sort of feel the lessons that he taught. It wasn't always easy because the pressure of putting together a show, 24 shows a year, with sometimes only a couple of days to get the script ready. But it was like, to be around someone at the peak of their powers, amazing stuff.
Oh, I can't imagine. That had to be quite an awesome time in your life. So, plus helped you garner that Emmy. So, obviously, the easy follow-up question for me to ask would be, if you had to trade the Emmy and you could then win your choice between the Jack Daniels or the American Royal Invitational, which one would you give the Emmy up for?
I would like to win the Lenexa barbecue battle in Kansas.
You don't have any interest in the Jack or the American Royal Invitation?
No, you know what? I tell you, those are two, really, of course, those are the two giants in contests and everything like that. But having been around these large contests and celebrity judges, they both kind of scare the bejeebers out of me. And I've basically gotten to cook with Chris Lilly and the Big Bob Gibson team during the year that the team won the Invitational. So I did take a walk for a grand championship with Big Bob Gibson. I was pretty lucky to be on that team at that time. But it is those are big, scary contests. And so I love the smaller contests. I really love knowing that these are local, hand-picked judges.
I completely understand where you're coming with on that. All right, so let's go ahead and with the 2.5 minutes we have left here in the first segment, and then we'll have quite a bit of time here on the backside of segment number 2. The obvious question in regards to TLC BBQ Pitmasters, which airs every Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern, is, have you been given a green light for a second season yet as we speak right now?
There is not an official green light. And if I were TLC, I'd be doing the same thing they're doing, which is there's one more episode to go. There is basically they have a lot in the hopper right now. I've been getting some very positive feedback about the show from the network. 4 of our cast members are being flown to New York on Thursday to have photos taken with the rest of the TLC family. So I make no assumptions in television, because every time you do, you get stung like a hornet, and I wouldn't really leap that far ahead, but I really like the signs that I'm seeing about how they feel about the show and the cast members. So in TV, they wait till the last minute to tell you.
Who are the 4 people being flown out to get some FaceTime?
Tuffy's going, Leanne's going, Johnny Trigg's going, and Myron's going.
So if I'm looking at, I've seen every episode, obviously, and it seems that if you take a look at, out of the 7 that I guess are considered the cast members, the 4 that you mentioned, plus Harry from Slap Your Daddy, Jamie Geer, and Paul Peterson, the 4 that you mentioned seem to have garnered the most attraction, the most attention, especially from online forums and from people that I've talked to on the telephone or met in person talking about the show. They seem to be, or have taken more of the focal point of the show over. Is that something that is more perceived, or do you think that's more real life?
Some of it is real life and some of it is perceived. For example, if people caught the last episode, which was the episode, this is like the next before our last episode, Jamie Geer, this is at the Big Pig Jig in Vienna, Georgia. Right. Jamie Geer stole that show.
Right.
I mean, he was a sleeper up until then, because sometimes it's the luck of the draw, Greg. Stories happen. We didn't make any of these stories happen. They just kind of sometimes sprung up out of nowhere, like whether it's stealing a muffin tin or falling asleep in front of a pit or starting seeing that someone starts their fire with lighter fluid. These are the little things that become bigger stories. And Jamie didn't really have the big kind of wheel fall on him, but then something happened at that Big Pig Jig, and he just came alive. And I gotta say, he surprised everybody with just how funny he was. I mean, Greg, am I allowed to use foul language on the show?
We're not FCC regulated.
Well, to hear a man say I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds, I mean, come on. Shakespeare couldn't have done better than that.
Oh, yeah, and from all accounts, Jamie is quite the personality when you get him down into conversation. I've talked to a number of people that have been just in regular conversation that come away thinking not only is he a great human being, but probably one of the funniest guys they've ever actually come across in real life.
He is really, like, to me, and I say this because we all know what a pit builder he is, and we all know, I mean, the truth is Jamie began his career as a cook and a competition cook. And when you look at the prize winnings over all of his career that we flash up next to his name, he's won a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
But his path became pit building. I like to sometimes call him our clown prince of barbecue because he's just that funny.
Absolutely.
And he's just got a great sense of humor. And he's very self-deprecating, and I just love the guy to death. And at the same time, we just have these everybody. What I'm happy about is all 7 got to have their moment in the sun in the show. They all had things that really, I mean, who can forget Harry Sue during the storm yelling, "We're all going to die."
Right.
Leanne Whippen with her travails with her boyfriend Billy. I mean, and Myron, every episode something's happening with him, or there's just something quotable going on. I just think we were very, very fortunate in that 7 that we picked. We really were. And Paul Peterson, I mean, I spoke to him the other day. There were times when he was really portrayed as just kind of, he wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer when it came to barbecue.
Right.
And you know what? I mean, he kind of turned it around, and I think he really was redeemed in the show. And his restaurant now is packed to the walls.
Wow.
Like 5 nights a week.
Oh, I can imagine, a lot of these guys are getting some great FaceTime and some residual benefits from being on the show. So, John, what I want to do right now is take my first segment break here, and then we'll come back and do a big extended version for the second stuff. We'll hopefully take some callers in and answer some email questions as well. So if you can hold the line, I'll do this read, and we'll get back to it. All right, John? I'm
right here.
All right. Before I step away, Centralites, let me remind you about the Ribolator, the latest advancement in barbecue and technology. And, of course, what I've always been telling you is you need to have an existing spit rod and motor to use this thing. Well, you don't now, because Bob at the Ribolator has spit rod and motor to sell. So he can sell you the complete kit and caboodle from start to finish. And unlike paying that $125 or $150 price tag on one of those aftermarket rotisserie and motors, he can sell you one for about $45 or $50. So save it, $70 savings right off the top. Ribolator.com is the place to go. RIBOLATOR.com, or info at Ribolator.com. More with John Markus when we come back. Stand by.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Introducing Cosmos Q. Cosmos injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our newest marinade, Cosmos Chicken Soak, for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love. You can find all of Cosmos award-winning products at CosmosQ.com. Cosmos Q, the new generation. Taste the difference.
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose, like ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at TheBarbecueGuru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com. Or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Hey, gang, Rempe here. And, I think we can all agree that some of the best tasting food that we've ever had has come off of a rotisserie cooker. But until now, we've been very limited with what we can do on our existing spit rod and motor. Introducing the newest product in barbecue technology called the Ribolator. Now, the Ribolator installs on your existing spit rod and motor in just minutes, allowing you to rotisserie foods that you never thought possible. Imagine on one tray having a rack of ribs, and on the other tray, hot dogs and hamburgers. How about on the third tray, chicken pieces, and then on the fourth tray, succulent fish? What? The Ribolator fits medium to large gas grills, as well as 55-gallon ugly drum smokers. There's even a new model that'll be available soon to fit 22.5-inch Weber kettle grills. Go to Ribolator.com to order. That's RIBOLATOR.com, Ribolator.com, or give B.O.B. a call at 206-999-0962. You'll definitely love this thing.
Barbecue fans travel from all over the country to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family, and some of our graduates have gone on to success with barbecue businesses and TV fame. For more information, visit bbqclass.com.
Forget going from site to site to get all your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber as well as a full lineup of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. You can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichland of Barbecue U fame. Check Fred out on the web at fredsmusicandbbq.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Get in the smoke. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we're back. It's the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Networks. This portion of the show brought to you by Yoder Smoky Mountain Barbecue, the leading online distributor of Meadow Creek barbecue equipment. They're going to be expoing down at the Big Barbecue Expo this week down in Memphis, offering 7% discount, and they rarely offer any type of discount, but 7% on grills and smokers that are ordered from there. SeriousBBQs.com is a place to go. Mention you heard it here on the show, and Laverne Gingrich will get you hooked right up. It's the good folks at Yoder's Smoky Mountain Barbecue. All right. We will go ahead and pick up our conversation with John Markus, executive producer of TLC's BBQ Pitmasters, which you can see every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Depending on where you are in the country, it might be a little bit of different airing time. So, John, we were talking about the cast here and how they're kind of reaping the rewards of being on the show, which is certainly something that I'm sure they probably anticipated they'd get some type of reward in that regard, but maybe some didn't anticipate the amount that they were getting. So in regards to casting the show, we had went over this the first time I had you on, and it was kind of like a breakneck speed type of thing. So if you had, or let's assume you get the green light to have a second season, how do you go about casting the second go around? What changes would you make? Are there changes to be made? What do you think about that?
The first time we only had 5 days to cast the show, so I just went to my go-to people. These are all people that I've known either from my past work in televising barbecue events or just people that I cook next to. I had some personal contact with all this cast. I'd like to change for season 2. I'd like to now open it up and have 5 weeks of like a casting call. Like when they announced they're going to make the next Superman installment and you see people lined up around the block in New York City. I mean, I'd like to do that in about 20 towns and cities around the country. I'd like to get videos sent in from people who really want to be on the show. I want to have every barbecue person represented on the show. And now we're not going to be able to have a large cast, but I'd really like to know that I have turned over every rock out there to see what we got.
And would you be taking email requests too? Wasn't there like a general email address that people could send interest or inquiries to?
Yeah, right now there's an email address that's set up. It's called BBQ Pitmasters at originalmedia.com. If people want, they can send to that. Or they're going to be able to see announcements that are going to come. I'm going to probably have you do one. They're going to be in our trade papers. We'll put something up on the forum just to let people know how they can get a hold of us.
Okay, so when we look into casting, and I've had some sources around me say that maybe some of the people, there were a few rumblings in the TLC community that they might not have been necessarily overly enthusiastic with the fact that the people that are on the show now weren't necessarily, and I think to one point, whether it's true or not, a lot of these guys, they're not, winning the grand championships. But I guess my point is, you're definitely not afraid of showing that this is a whole different thing. Just because these guys are called the BBQ Pitmasters doesn't mean that they're the only 4 or 7 they're going to be battling out week to week.
Well, the truth is, it's a TV show. And when I approach the show, I have to approach it like I would a regular television show, like a half-hour comedy or a drama, which is I'm putting these pieces together. I mean, there has to be active choices made. I'd love to have all the best cooks coming forward to be on the show, but we just don't have room for that in each installment. But if we have enough seasons, we'll get around to a lot of them. I just really need people who have all the skills put together in a package. They know what they're doing, or they have great attitude about what they're doing. And they've won a few things here and there. So, it's a bit of a compromise here and there. But, any commercial venture is going to be that.
Is there any truth that some of the guys wouldn't be necessarily asked to come back if there was a second season, like Harry or Paul?
Any truth when you say that? You mean like people are saying that? Or like, I will say this, that everybody who is on the show knows what I know. And I've talked to all our cast members and said, I don't know. And I love being in the position of not knowing because I have no pressure right now.
It's much easier to say I don't know and know that you don't know when you don't know.
The truth is, I don't know. and everyone's had their moment on the show, and they're people that, I loved working with all of them. And I know that's really show business to say that, but I got to tell you, I just got a huge kick out of these folks week to week. All of them gave us great television, and some people, I would say, I want them to get as famous as possible doing the show. I love it that one of our cast members has been paid big dollars to be flown to Chicago and cook a Super Bowl party.
That's very nice. I'd like a gig like that myself, but still waiting for that invitation, unfortunately.
Well, listen, I'll tell you, ultimately, what did Andy Warhol say? Everyone's going to have their 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, I'll keep waiting for that. So if the next season comes, or let's just be positive, when the next season comes, do you plan to take some of the crew that's here for season 1 over to a season 2, or do you completely recast, or what's the thought process behind that?
Well, I'd love to take everybody. There's my show business answer. There's my Mr. Hollywood executive producer answer. I just love them all to come over for the next one. But I have to wait and see what the network says. I have to hear from them. Certainly, like I said, everyone's had their great moments on the show. And I think, Greg, what you're trying to do is trick me into some announcement here.
Well, let me rephrase my question, because I have kind of a whole philosophy on reality TV. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it in a large portion, because I think it's kind of eliminated a lot of great creativity that's gone around in writing rooms for a number of years, as you could probably well attest to.
There's been several nails put into my coffin.
Exactly. So
by reality. And by the way, there are two kinds of, just want to say that two kinds of reality. There's a reality that is scripted reality,
right,
where you really see writers and executive producers manipulating the events. And then there's what we call our show, which is we actually let things happen and we turn that into a show. But go ahead.
So I guess my point to make was, if you have the shows in reality TV that seem to work, and kind of scrubbing off the little sub lesson you just gave us there in reality television, the shows that seem to work in reality TV are ones that kind of have a recurring cast. For instance, John and Kate +8, same people, different day, life happens, shit happens, blah 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 blah. and you have that kind. So the people have, or the audience is growing to know these people and what they're all about and going through their trials and tribulations of life. The second version of a reality TV show that seems to work is the cast changes, for instance, Survivor. But there's a contest. There's something to win in it. There's big money there to win, aside from all the celebrity fame or however quick and dynamic that fades. There's something at the end which people can bank on, and they know they're leading up to that. And right now, where I see kind of a gray area with the TLC Pitmasters is if it's not carrying over the cast, then viewers are going to have to get to know new people, which may be a detractor. Or and then on the other side of that, they're not winning $500,000 at the end either. So I guess I just was kind of wondering where the show was going to be focused at.
Well, let's take one point at a time here. I mean, if there's going to be new people on the show next year, let's put it this way. They better be better at being on TV than the people I got already.
Right.
Otherwise, they ain't going to be on. They have to be better. The one critique I got from the network, and I agree with them on this, is that they feel that our audience, and our audience is largely non-barbecue aficionados. Let's face it. I
Sure.
mean, that's who's that there's a letdown for the audience when they see that our cast members don't win the contest. And I've had executives say to me, wait a minute, our people aren't winning.
Right.
And I said, welcome to competition barbecue.
Does that work against you, though?
Well, it works against us that our people aren't winning. It does. So here's what I'll kind of – my wish is, and this is going to be in concert with my network, with TLC, my wish is that we make a revision to the show, that we create our own circuit that is actually part of regulation competition, so that there's going to be a tour, essentially, that is going to piggyback onto existing venues. And by the way, it might not even be a barbecue contest. What if the Pitmasters were set up out in front of the Alamo cooking?
Right.
And so we create a circuit that is event-oriented, that allows, at the end of the cycle, someone to walk away with a huge purse. That's something I'd love to see on the show.
Absolutely. Let me grab a quick question here from John Dawson in Boise, Idaho. Had a quick question. Is there anything that you regret about the show? In other words, anything that you would like to change next year? Well, I guess we kind of
I can
surmised that.
add to that. I'd really like to get a small raise.
Who wouldn't like a small? I'd like a big raise.
I mean, the truth is, it's the least I've ever made in television and the most fun.
Sometimes that seems to go hand in hand, doesn't it, John?
Sure does. I had so much fun doing this, and I got to be kind of part of directing it and part of, editing it and part of everything. But it was really kind of an all-inclusive experience. Normally I have to hand stuff off on another show, but we had like a really good crew. We had a showrunner who worked with me, a guy named Brian Catalina, who did the first season of Deadliest Catch. It was like I got an education. So it was really an eye-opener for me.
So you guys seem to be not, I don't want to say you're favoring the KCBS, but I mean, there's a lot of exposure going on for the KCBS. And was there any type of backdoor deal, greasy palm with stuffed envelopes and bags of cash that the KCBS gave you in order to make sure that you were showing them the most out of all the other sanctioning bodies?
I think the people who would be the most surprised by that would be the people at the KCBS wondering where the hell did that money come from. I don't think that they have that.
But I mean,
but let me say this. I mean, I feel a tremendous loyalty and debt to Carolyn Wells, who has been a partner from the beginning in my barbecue to television. So you bet I'm going to show that logo. I'm going to let people extol the virtues of being part of this world. Because, I mean, I owe that. I owe that to the KCBS.
All right, so kind of transitioning nicely into this next question, and I'm sure you've probably, the show has single-handedly increased their membership quite a bit this past 3 or 4 months, undoubtedly. But talking about the KCBS, obviously they just had new elections a couple weeks ago. They had a new person elected to the board of directors, Candy Weaver. There's been a lot of talk this year in the KCBS or within the KCBS, especially on forums and so forth, about infighting and the old school continuing to run it the way it was, and there needs to be change and needs to be changed now. You've been a member of the KCBS for a long time. You actually made a run at the BOD in the past. What do you like about KCBS, and but perhaps more importantly, what do you think needs to be tweaked in order for it to continue to grow and prosper?
Well, what I like about your question, Greg, is you've set a question up that you could get me into just a heaping load of trouble. But I'm going to answer it anyway.
They pay me very minimal dollars to ask the tough questions.
Here's what I love about the KCBS. I love that about 30 years ago, about 4 or 5 people were in somebody's backyard and say, you know what we ought to do? We ought to have contests with barbecue. I think that spirit, that founding spirit, is exactly what needs to be retained and nurtured in the KCBS. I really think that the heart and soul of competition lies in what was put together to begin with. Now, the problems they're having are basically problems of growing pains. This thing is like at 35% growth a year. I mean, if it were a commodity, I would buy it. It's right. That kind of like future, And I just really think that there needs to be a bit more of a vision put forth about being hands-on about contests, about making sure the organizers have the proper amount of judges and the proper qualified amount of judges. I mean, there are too many contests where teenagers are pulled into the tent at the last minute to judge. And, man, when you're up all night cooking brisket, you don't want to think that's who's looking at it and tasting it, So that's my one gripe about the organization, but I think they know that within the ranks, and they want to do better.
I just had a great question, and I've lost it, unfortunately. That's all right.
That's all right.
We have a question from David out in Kansas. How about making a contest for your complete season? For every place they get on tape, they get a certain amount of points, and at the end of the season, you have a payoff within your own show. Of course, that would require sponsorship dollars, I would imagine.
Well, I mean, that's akin to what I was talking about earlier, which is,
right.
Creating a circuit that did. And I think that's a really good thought, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see that actually put into motion for next season.
So here's a quick question I have. Got about a minute left before I let you go. You made the show of, well, you didn't make it, but the show, the Dover contest where Tuffy gives Myron a brisket, and that was quite a big hinge to the show. And then all of a sudden, kind of at the end, just kind of in passing, it's glossed over that Myron just happened to win the brisket category. I mean, why wasn't that shown on television? That was like the big storyline of the show.
Well, when something really key like that doesn't get shown, it could be possibility that one of our camera people was out taking a pee break.
Oh, no.
So, but, we did embrace it, and there he was with that big trophy. You didn't see him go up and get it, but you saw him sometimes with an audience, you don't have to show them everything. In other words, when they go, oh my gosh, and there he is with his trophy, they connect the dots because the audience is always smarter than you think they are. And we did go up to him and say, are you going to give him some of the prize money? And he said, hell no.
Yeah, big surprise there, right?
Hey, listen, I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
I even said to Myron, are you kidding? And he goes, hey, I'd have the same thing done to me.
Now, let's be honest here. I think, and I had Myron on the show last week. I've had him on the show 3 times now. I've talked to him off the air a handful of times regarding life and barbecue in general. This guy that we're seeing on the television, this isn't Myron Mixon everyday life. This is Myron Mixon, the reality TV star. And he is as much cop to it last week, saying that he's playing up certain things, or he was playing up certain things as it was being taped. But, I mean, he really seems to be kind of the breakout personality. You love him or you hate him. And he's really kind of reaping those rewards with the Jay Leno appearance. And then, of course, Craig Ferguson last week, which was an outstanding appearance. So, I mean, what's the backdoor kind of inside secret to all that stuff?
Well, let me put it this way. I think Myron is a very special guy. I think he's a huge talent as a cook. He is a barbecue legacy. He understands the ins and outs of how to cook meat and flavor it. He's really an exceptional man, but he's not Sir Laurence Olivier. He would not be able to create that persona if it weren't part of who he is. And I would like to propose that what you see in Myron is a facet of his personality.
I agree with that.
if you poke a stick in a cage, you're going to piss off that animal. And if you think about Myron alone in a dark room with a couple of people and lights and a camera, and those people off camera are saying to him, well, you know what, Tuffy's saying he's going to whip your ass, and Leanne's saying she'd love nothing more than to take you down, you're going to get the guy going. And that's what we would do every week, is we would just poke a stick in the cage. We didn't write those lines. That's a facet of Myron. And what he did with it basically did not come created out of whole cloth. He just was channeling part of Myron Mixon.
And riding that channeling efforts to some great TV success. I mean, was it like the most awkward, wonderful, and horrific thing ever to see a Scottishman and a guy from Unadilla, Georgia, talking to each other with those accents? It was almost not only illegible, but intolerable.
I'll tell you something. If, God willing, Myron does another Craig Ferguson appearance, I'm going to insist on subtitles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because they speak the King's English down there.
What's that?
They speak the King's English down there in Unadilla, Georgia.
Yeah, you bet they do. I mean, that one took me by surprise. I was right there on the set when all that happened, and I was impressed with how loose Myron was. And I got to say, I left that show with this huge appreciation of what Craig Ferguson can do. I mean, this guy is so inventive and so resourceful, and he reminds me of the great television hosts of old time. You know, he's like Carson. He's got edge. He's really funny. And, you know, these two guys are kind of similar, Myron and Craig. These guys have healthy egos, and I think they kind of really liked each other.
Well, I think Craig Ferguson kind of gets a raw deal considering all the stuff that's been going on in late night. And over time, he definitely, I mean, he's built a faithful audience, a great following, and he will sure to continue to rise in the ranks there. I thought both of those two played very well with each other. So, John, appreciate the time. I hate to run here, but we got to grab up Ted Reeder, the Canadian barbecue and grilling expert, for some Super Bowl stuff. Do you have a pick, by the way, before I let you go, between the Saints and the Indianapolis Colts?
Can I tell you something? I was raised by a Norwegian father. I never watched football.
What?
I'm really sorry to say that. My dad was Norwegian, and he was also a doctor. And when football came on, he would sit in a chair and see everyone butting heads and going crazy. And he'd say, "You know what? They're all getting hurt. These are kind of idiots. I'm not going to watch this. And you guys should go out and play." So I mean, I'll watch a bowl game, but this is the first I'm hearing who's playing in it.
Yeah, Peyton Manning attempting another Super Bowl win, and the Saints. I think this is their first Super Bowl appearance ever, because they've been horrible for pretty much the inception of their whole lives down there in Louisiana. So, yeah, well, then check the game out and see what you think.
I'll tell you, you made it sound good. I think I might watch it.
All right, John, again, always appreciate the time. And, once you get the green light for the second season, let's hook up again. We'll talk up second season of TLC Pitmasters.
Anytime, Greg.
All right, John, take care, buddy.
My pleasure.
There he is, John Markus, if you need him. Ran late, but that was worth it. Man, I just don't have the time to sit there and talk as much as I want to, unfortunately, with the people that I probably want to talk to the most. But that's all right. Executive producer and Emmy award-winning executive producer making time to come on an internet radio show. Unfathomable to me. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We're going to come back with Ted Reeder to talk about the Super Bowl and party planning and all that great stuff. It's Rampy and you right here on the Barbecue Central Show.
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose, like ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at TheBarbecueGuru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU. Barbecue fans travel from all over the country to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family, and some of our graduates have gone on to success with barbecue businesses and TV fame. For more information, visit bbqclass.com.
Are you one of the grillers out there that want to add true authentic wood smoke to your grilled foods? You know what? I feel your pain, Centralites, and that's why I want to tell you about the Flavor Dome Smoker Box. The Flavor Dome is made of 100% stainless steel, heavy gauge, weighing in at 3 1/4 pounds. This thing is built to last a lifetime, and heck, with that weight, you could use it to fight off creeping marauders looking to take your steaks off your grills. Its revolutionary dual lid technology produces a cleaner, smoother tasting smoke, and the low profile design with that inverted deep V channel allows it to sit right on the flavorizer bars, and you can put your grill grate right back on top of it and continue cooking. Now, Centralites, you know I own a Flavor Dome, and I absolutely love it. It works on 90% of all gas grills, and don't forget to take advantage of the special price when you order the Flavor Dome and the Ribbolator together. Visit Ribbolator.com for more information. Centralites, let's not listen to what the Surgeon General has to say about it, and let's get hooked on smoking together with the Flavor Dome. Won't you try yours today?
Forget going from site to site to get all your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber as well as a full lineup of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. You can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichland of Barbecue U fame. Check Fred out on the web at fredsmusicandbbq.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Introducing Cosmo's Big Name Interviews. Coverage of competition barbecue. And the only host willing to give his honest opinion on all topics in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we're back. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Thanks again to John Markus for coming on for that segment and a half, talking about the show, how he would recast, things that he liked about the show, things he didn't like the show. Talked about my theory on why some reality TV shows fail. I think if you don't carry some of those people over and you don't have a prize at the end, I think that that show could run into some trouble. Because, you know, when you're not winning, it's going to be tough, as TLC has said to him. So this portion of the show is brought to you by the good folks at the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control devices, not to mention a host of other barbecue and grilling products to make your life a whole lot easier. 2 ways to find them: online at thebbqguru.com, or you can call them toll-free at 800-288-GURU. It's good folks at the Barbecue Guru. All right, now I actually have to raise up my next guest via telephone. He's in Chicago, doing multiple...
Good evening, Reach Front Desk. This is Tabitha. How may I assist you?
Tabitha, this is Greg Rempe calling with the Barbecue Central Radio Show. How are you tonight?
I'm wonderful. And yourself?
I'm doing outstanding. I'm looking for room 1117. Ted Reeder.
1117. Transferring you now.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Outstanding customer service there.
Yellow.
All right, we go to the hotline. Standing by, Canadian grilling and barbecue star Ted Reeder joining us on the show.
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
Ted, how's the Windy City, buddy?
Windy City's pretty good.
No doubt about it. First of all, thanks for coming on the show. I know you're very busy making a lot of great presentations to big-name people in the culinary industry, so I always appreciate you making time for the show. And obviously, as you well know, the biggest football game of the year is coming up, Super Bowl Sunday, and probably, I don't think it's overlooked as one of the most big culinary days as far as this country and Canada and a number of other countries are concerned. So we want to make sure that we're doing all the right things if we're hosting our parties. So probably before we actually get into some recipes and tips and all that stuff, why don't we back it up a little bit, and maybe you could give us some tips as far as proper pre-planning and how you go about hosting a good party so you're not the schmuck that's running back and forth, missing the game, and looking like a complete tool.
You got it. Number one is plan your menu first off of what you want to do, whether you're going to be smoking ribs or making pulled pork or making a big pot of chili. Planning is the key. Right? Getting things done ahead is the next thing. So once you've got your menu planned, go do your shop and start your pre-preparations. The game is on Sunday. It starts at 4 o'clock. Everything that you're going to do, about 75 to 80% of it, needs to be done before Sunday even sets in. So get it going early. If you're going to do the pork, smoking pork, you start that a day ahead and you smoke it first and then you reheat it. You're going to do the same thing with your ribs. You don't want to be actually doing any smoking on the day. When you're going to get into things, start your guests off with lots of nibbles when they arrive. Ice cold beer, a big bottle of Jack goes perfect with a football game. Bourbon Street, New Orleans. If you're a Saints fan like I am, then you're going to want to make sure you've got a big larder full of Jack Daniels to keep things rolling. And then preparation is the key. Get things going, make it ahead, and then when people arrive, you can sit down and relax with them, and at halftime, serve the food.
Because, it's really nothing is more rude than a host that is ill-prepared and that is actually racing around the house trying to cater to every whim and whimper, looking at the grill, trying to make sure the shrimp cocktail's there, refreshing Jack Daniels and all that stuff. It really should be about the host being able to enjoy his own party as well.
It's very much so. You want when I do a party in my backyard, it's extremely casual. I invite people over. I've got the food done. I throw the cutlery on the table. I open the beer fridge. I say, "That's where you go if you want a beer. You're here to party. We're here to have fun, and I'm here to have just as much fun. And I want to relax with my guests. I don't want to invite them over and at the end of the night go, wow, I didn't get to talk to anybody." That's not a party. A party is a fest. And when it's Super Bowl, it's time to fest.
That's right. And there shouldn't be any bad stigma attached with actually doing stuff ahead of time in order for you to reach your ultimate goal of being able to enjoy the fest, as you put it.
Exactly. You can do certain little bits of things that are going to take no time to heat up or warm up, but you can set your oven, and warm things. A big pot of chili is a great thing to be serving throughout the game. And then right down to when you're getting into halftime, that's when you go for the big food and make sure it's ready ahead. The game's going to give you about an hour and a half to 2 hours, so you can have food already ready to go.
Now, you mentioned the chili, but what are some other good, as you put them, snackies or items that you can kind of graze on before the big stuff happens during the halftime?
Well, a lot of people do things like chicken wings. Chicken wings are wonderful to do. It's easy. Finger foods. You can make a big dip. I've got a presentation to do for a client tomorrow, and today I took pulled pork, I laid it into a pan, and then on top of it I made this thick cream cheese-based sauce that went on top of the pulled pork, and then on top of that was a layer of shredded cheese. Now, I was thinking about vegetables, but I said, what is the point? Pork, meat, and cheese, that's all you need all together.
Yes.
And then you heat that up and you got a dip.
Oh, my God. Luckily, that doesn't sound too delicious. Can I be on the next flight over to the Windy City here in the next 5 minutes or what? That sounds awesome.
Yeah, a pulled pork dip, right? And you could do the same thing with brisket. You can do anything, instead of having a spinach and artichoke dip, which is really nice, but you know what? There's no substance. Make it with meat.
Now, for those that might be a little bit more ambitious, they want to show off a little bit of their grilling wares. Is there anything in particular regarding, you are the master planker, anything regarding the plank that people might want to try out for the Super Bowl Sunday?
Well, for me, it's right now what I'm going to serve my guests on Sunday as a nibble is bacon. I'm taking big chunks of bacon that I've cured and smoked, and I'm going to do about 1-inch thick pieces, grill them off, and then cut them into nibbles. And then instead of bowls of nuts, you got bowls of bacon to eat. That's the way to start the party. For main courses, I'm doing really big burgers, and I'm going to stuff those burgers. And you can stuff them with whatever you want. If you want to do a mixture of pulled pork or brisket and cheese, you can do that. You can stuff them with roasted peppers and onions if you want. You make your burgers the way you want to do them, but make them big, something that's going to hold the moisture. If you want to do it, like for me, I plank my burgers. And if you go onto my website at tedreader.com, you'll see these Beeralicious burgers. They're the size of a softball. And the greatest thing about them is you can plank smoke them. They take about 25 to 30 minutes to cook, and then they stay moist and juicy. And it's like a big, giant meatball. And if you got a flip-top head, it's the easiest way to eat them.
Oh, yeah, right. And who doesn't have one of those, by the way? We're talking with Ted Reader. Again, tedreader.com is his website. And, of course, the whole burger thing piggybacking nicely onto that new book that you're going to have coming out here probably in the next couple months, right?
That's it. We've got a new burger book coming out this summer called Napoleon's Everyday Gourmet Burgers, and there'll be a lot of fun there. And just watch my website for all kinds of different recipes and fun things coming out.
All right, so
don't forget, for Super Bowl, my recipe for this season, this is the thing, and I've talked about it before with you, is my planked Twinkies. You cannot have a Super Bowl party without planked Twinkies.
Give us the recipe again.
Okay, take Twinkies out of the package, put them on a plank, top them with either peanut butter or chocolate hazelnut spread like Nutella.
Right.
Put on chocolate chips, mini marshmallows, nuts, caramel pieces, whatever you want, candy. Top it all off, put it on the grill, and hot plank smoke those Twinkies for about 15 minutes at 375 degrees. The Twinkie's going to get all crispy on the outside. Then I take a large injection needle, and I suck up a big wad of Jack Daniels, and each Twinkie gets injected with a little bit of Jack Daniels.
I want to give you the crowd cheer, but I think you just won the prize for life. Oh, my God. That sounds... I don't even know if I have words to actually describe what I'm feeling about plank smoked Twinkies.
Some people say it's like a heart attack on a board, but truthfully, I mean, everybody has a sweet tooth. And, you know, Twinkies are fun and easy, and you don't have to go about baking a cake or anything, and it cooks in less than 15 minutes. And it just makes it delicious and easy.
Wow.
It's about having fun when you're cooking, whether it's grilling or smoking or entertaining. It's all about the fun, and that's what you got to do.
We're talking with Ted Reader. TedReader.com is his website. So I guess from how we opened the show, you're going to be siding with the Saints this Sunday as far as Super Bowl victories are concerned?
Yes, I am.
Do you have a score that you would like to put out there for the people that like to get down?
Well, I'd like to see the Saints do something in the range of 49-0.
49-0.
Uh-oh. But I'm dreaming there, so I think it's going to actually be a pretty close game. And but I would like to see the Saints coming out on top.
No doubt.
You know, everybody's got a dream.
Yeah. Hey, I think that obviously the best team to beat the Indianapolis Colts would be the Saints this year. And again, he is Ted Reader. Ted, always appreciate the time, and we'll look for you again next month.
You got her. Have a super weekend, folks. Make it easy, and remember, it's all about a good time. Have a shot, have a beer, and just make your food absolutely delicious.
Thanks, Ted. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg.
There he is, Ted Reader. Oh, my God. I think I just had kind of a coronary event. Minor coronary event, I think, but coronary nonetheless. Just listening. TedReader.com is his website. We're going to come back with one more segment. Oh, how am I going to do this now? My timing is way off. All right, let me see what I can do. Stick around. We'll come back with a very brief winning segment. Call in now if you want to win. 216-220-0966. Stand by. We'll be right back.
Everyone knows rotisserie food tastes the best. But until now, the only things you could rotisserie were whole chickens, roasts, and the like. But all that is about to change. Introducing the newest product in barbecue technology, the Ribolator. The Ribolator will easily attach to your existing spit rod in minutes, allowing you to rotisserie foods you never thought possible. Now you can rotisserie ribs, fish, burgers, pork chops, steaks, chicken, and all the veggies you can eat. The only limit is your imagination. The Ribolator will fit medium to large gas grills, as well as 55-gallon ugly drum smokers. There's even a new model that will be available soon to fit 22.5-inch Weber kettle grills. And if you're looking to add smoke flavor to your grill, then you absolutely have to check out the Flavor Dome Smoker Box. It fits snugly into your gas or kettle grill, and thanks to its patented lid design, provides up to an hour of smoke. Go to Ribolator.com to order. That's RIBOLATOR.com. Or call 206-999-0962. That's 206-999-0962. Do it now.
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose. Make ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at TheBarbecueGuru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Introducing Cosmos Q. Cosmos injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our newest marinade, Cosmos Chicken Soak, for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love. You can find all of Cosmos award-winning products at CosmosQ.com. Cosmos Q, the new generation. Taste the difference. Sometimes it's all about the free stuff. Call now to win something succulent.
All right. So we are back. Barbecue Central show, Barbecue Central Radio Networks. Thank you for joining me. Thanks to Ted Reeder, man. That guy is one of my favorite interviews ever. Professional, always comes prepared, ready to talk. Great recipes off the top of his head. I mean, for my money, probably one of the best recurring guests that I have on the show, Ted Reeder. No doubt about it. All right, let's go to the phone and see if we can't get a winner here. Oh, wait. Sorry, before I do that. Portion of the show brought to you by D-Dog's Barbecue Rub. You know you love their sauces and rubs, but would you like to buy them locally? Well, of course you would. Then you need to give D-Dog your help. Send him the name, address, and phone number of your local barbecue store, farmer's market, or grocery store, and D-Dogs will do the rest. Email this info to Darren, D-A-R-I-N, at ddogsbbq.com, and he'll take care of the rest. Darren at ddogsbbq.com. If you're not afraid of shipping charges, ddogsbbq.com is the website. Let's go to area code 530, Barbecue Central Radio Show, name and where you're calling from.
Chico, California.
Chico, California. Name, sir?
John.
John, how are you tonight, John?
I'm doing good.
I hear you listening to the show in the background. Very nice. I always like to hear myself 30 seconds.
It's a little confusing.
In delay. Indeed. Yeah, you can't listen to the feed and then listen to me live. You're going to be lost in 1 second. Do you want Cosmos Q? Do you want a frog mat?
I'll take Cosmos Q.
Cosmos Q. All right, so you're going to get the pork, the beef, and the chicken soak to try out. So what you need to do is send me your your shipping address, and email that to me at bbqcentralradio@gmail.com.
I will take care of that.
All right, John, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Take care. That's John from Chico, California. Got a frog mat. Got 2 minutes and 35 seconds to give away that frog mat. Yeah, Ted Reeder's website, again, is tedreeder.com. He's got a new hamburger book coming out towards the summer, I guess. By the way, just so you know, we are going to be doing a new segment here in the next few minutes called After Dark, and my first guest will be Joey Chestnut. He is currently ranked number 1 in the world of Major League Eating, which is governed by the IFOCE, or the International Federation of Competitive Eating. So if you've never heard Joey talk about how he got into the sport and what it's all about, how he trains, some of his records. I mean, it's fascinating stuff, to be sure, because, I mean, who doesn't like to see people on stage in front of a television gorging themselves with 75 and 80 hot dogs and buns on a warm July 4th afternoon. I mean, doesn't that just scream fun and excitement? All right, so maybe it doesn't. What do you want me to tell you? Anyway, 216-220-0966, bbqcentralradio@gmail.com is the email address if you want to get in touch with the show. Also, wanted to thank, again, John Markus for coming on, talking about TLC Pitmasters. Just way too much to get to in what is tantamount to 15 or 16 minutes of show. He's obviously very busy anyway, and I don't want to overstep and keep him for long, short bursts. Have him back on the show. We don't want to burn any bridges here on the Barbecue Central show, so that's what we'll continue to do here. So let me go ahead and quickly wrap this portion of the show up. Stand by here 1 second so I can do this right. And then, if you're so inclined to stay by for After Dark, I am more than happy to have you. Thanks again to John Markus for coming on. Thanks again to Ted Reeder for an outstanding segment as usual. I'm going to pick the Indianapolis Colts, unfortunately, for Ted. I mean, I don't care either way. It's not the Browns, so what do I care? It'll never be the Browns, let's be honest. No matter if Mike Holmgren, Eric Mangini, and whoever else are bringing in, it's going to be a rough 10 or 20 years for the Browns fans. So stand by for news. We'll be back with Joey Chestnut right after this.